Hey guys, Playtendo Guy here, and I've been running through the trenches, capturing objectives and recreating scenes from Lawrence of Arabia to bring you my review of Battlefield 1. So is DICE's World War I set game an awesome blast from the past, or should the series stick to modern day times? Let's find out. Battlefield 1 marks the first time in quite a while the shooter's gone back in time for a historical war, instead of focusing on setting it in the modern day or even in the near future with space as a setting like fellow shooter Call of Duty has. So it's really nice to see Battlefield 1 going back to the past with a much more real and rather effective affair. This really shows in the game's campaign mode, which is called War Stories, and these are 5 fairly long campaigns, each lasting around an hour or two. Each campaign focuses on a different character. These vary from a tank driver trying to get through German lines to get to a French village, to a guy recounting how he lost his brother in the war. It's quite an emotional affair, and some of these tales do kind of tug at the heartstrings, providing plenty of thought of what people must have went through all those years ago. So it should come as no surprise that Battlefield 1's campaign is probably the best the series has seen for quite some time. The levels are mostly a linear affair, but there are a few times when the levels open up for exploration. You can go through the levels either all guns blazing or take a much more stealthier approach. Both provide plenty of enjoyment, and while most of the objectives in the campaign are pretty basic, it's still great fun, and the campaign is perfect for those new to the franchise, as the campaign will teach you how to use tanks, planes and horses to prepare you for the big reason why people play Battlefield, the multiplayer. And multiplayer is back and better than ever. Those who have been with Battlefield franchise for years will be right at home here, but there has been a few subtle changes to make for a better and tighter experience, like the removal of the engineer class and the introduction of a few new classes. Picking which multiplayer mode to play first is like which Christmas present to unwrap first. There's plenty to choose from and they're all equally good. First up, you have the mode Battlefield's most famous for, Conquest. This mode is basically an all-out war, where up to 64 players split into 2 teams have to fight over several key objectives any way they can, whether it's by land, whether it's by air, or whether it's on foot. It's Battlefield's multiplayer at its best. Other modes returning in Battlefield 1 are Domination, which is a smaller version of Conquest, the ever-enjoyable Team Deathmatch mode, and the attack and defend fun of Rush. It's also worth noting that there's a couple of new modes to the online. First up, it's the strangely named War Pigeons. This is basically capture the flag but with a pigeon. It's really fun and it's probably one of the best modes in the game. And the big new mode is Operations, which is like a mix of Conquest and Rush. This chaotic multiplayer mode tasks the attacking team to capture the 2 or 3 control points in a sector of a map, whilst the defending team tries to hold off the enemy bombardment. Operations feels a suitably epic mode in playing and in length, as there's several sectors of a map, each with 2 or 3 control points, plus there's multiple maps to fully complete the operation, so you're looking at a good hour plus of utter warfare, and it's incredibly fun. I should also talk about the guns in the game, and wow, what a change from Battlefield 4. That game felt like it had way too many guns that were too similar and far too many attachments. Thankfully, Battlefield 1's collection of guns, whether it's SMGs, shotguns, rifles or pistols, they are all varied and aren't full of attachments, which is great. All of the guns certainly have a different feel from most modern day shooters. This is obviously because it's set in the past and the guns feel weightier, and while you can't say reduce the recoil of your gun, it does add a bit of strategy to your shooting as well as some old time charm. It wouldn't be a Battlefield game if your class didn't have any gadgets, and Battlefield 1 tailors these gadgets to the World War I setting well. You have the comically large syringe to revive fallen teammates, to these massive anti-tank grenades that, you can guess it, do some pretty big damage to those pesky tanks. And while there's also gas grenades that can also cause some pretty big trouble for players in a small room, thankfully if you're on the receiving end to one of these, you just have to put on your gas mask and wait for it all to blow over. The multiplayer would be nothing if the maps weren't any good, but thankfully all the maps here are brilliant. Whether you're fighting through an eerie forest or fighting in a big desert, there's plenty of maps here to choose from. If I have any niggles, it would just be that the progression in the multiplayer can be a little slow, as you can level up far less quicker than what I would have liked. It's probably just me, but it just felt less quicker than the other Battlefield games. Audio wise now, and it's like all other DICE games, sound here is brilliant. The guns, the explosions and various other chaos that erupts on screen is pitch perfect. Another stunning job here. Voice acting is also pretty good as well. While there is a few characters here who are pretty wooden, the rest are actually voiced very well and do well with the script on offer. Presentation now, and this game is absolutely beautiful with detailed character models, awesome dynamic weather effects like fog and sandstorms that certainly impact on the gameplay, and the brilliantly detailed environments throughout both campaign and multiplayer. Graphics and presentation is stunning. Conclusion time now, and I give Battlefield 1 a 9 out of 10 with the title of brilliant. With a surprising and thoughtful single player campaign that's, while a little bit basic, does offer an enjoyable and often quite emotional campaign. Whilst the multiplayer is just as good as you expect with some great new modes and the World War setting adds to the epic feeling of it all, Battlefield 1 is well worth a buy. Hope you enjoyed my review, and as always, comment on what you think of my review, and hey, you can maybe even drop a like. And until next time, thank you for watching. Bye.